Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of How Did We Get Here? I'm your host, Jay Carter, and the man that is always heard and never ever seen Skeens, aka the background killer, aka Dr. Claw, aka the Wizard of Oz.
Right.
Again, you guys, better than your average is the channel and the movement. How did we get here is the show. We got two cousins that are like brothers talking anything, everything, and the process. How did we get here? Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back. We wanted to come and hit y'all with a quick episode real quick, man. Something we got to do. Something that we must attend to as lovers of comedy, lovers of 80s culture. It must be done. It must be done. It must be done. But before we get into that, my brother, how are you, my friend?
I'm great. What about you, man?
Man, doing our thing, man. Just enjoying life, man. Enjoying the process, man.
Got a couple of days, homie. Got a couple of days.
Yeah, what he's so eloquently referring to is that your boy gonna be in the big 3-9.
Yeah, man.
In a few days, man. March 18th, 1982. The day the Earth stood still. But yeah, man, it's been cool, man. We just working, doing our thing, trying to always come up with dope content and stuff for you guys, man. We appreciate the support. Don't forget, go ahead right now, hit the subscribe button, then hit the like button, right? And then put a comment.
And share.
And share it. You know what I'm saying? We trying to grow this little movement, man. We want to be able to put content out, improve our content and be able to put content out on a more consistent basis. We need that support from you guys. The likes and the shares, it doesn't cost you subscription. Subscribe don't cost you anything. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, without further ado, we're going to get into a review of sorts, but let's intro it right.
Can you see I'm coming to America?
Coming to America 2 review. Or is it, I see there's coming, then has number 2, America. So, this 80s classic was revived. We will debate, did it need to be revived? But this was a classic. This is some of, this is one of we consider the top films ever made. As far as, Eddie Murphy was at his height. And even the forward thinking as we get caught up, on the Black Panther and stuff like this, really, this was like the precursor to that. Yep. Really, if we think about it, you know what I'm saying? We got black royalty. He's from this affluent family, and he's trying, he wants to buck the system or break the chains of tradition of where you just get betrothed to somebody that you don't necessarily love or even know like that. So the movie is about him going to Queens, New York, and finding, his bride. So this comes 30 some odd years later, and he finds out that he has a son that was back. Now, again, what threw us that were lovers of the film is like Akeem, only person he was with was Lisa McDowell, right? So here we come, we throw in the storyline that, they throw in comedian Leslie Johnson. Is her name Johnson? Jones, excuse me. Leslie Jones, that she was at the club when him and Simi were there, and Simi was trying to, like he said, he was just trying to run up on anything. They meet them, and basically she got him high. She blows like a shotgun in his face, right? And got on him, and basically he got her pregnant, but he was too high to remember. So that's the beginning of it. But before we go down that road, was this revival necessary?
It is about 25 years too late.
Okay.
Because you got to think, so much time has passed.
Right.
the shadow, the legacy of the original Coming to America is looming over the shadow of this new.
Right.
No matter how good this movie would have been, it could have been the new Black Panther you talked about.
Right.
It's still, from a nostalgic standpoint, would never have lived up to the original.
Right.
So it was way the time to do it had expired.
Right.
So, side note, in the words of my boy Jeezy,
Okay.
that had to been some good dope
Shout out to our boy Jeezy, man.
to actually knock him out. I mean, I know he had virgin lung, but god dog.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. To me, that part of the, and again, this is what I did, guys, is I knew in my mind schemes that it could never, two things, it could never reach, well, it could never eclipse the first one, and then I know it can never even equal it.
Yeah.
And then the number three, I knew it couldn't even come close to it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, I went into it with no expectation.
And that's what I had to do, because honestly, it started out good.
Okay.
I like when it started out when you had the witch doctor who was spitting on Simi.
Oh, right.
And his dad was like, "It should have been you."
Right.
So I like how it started.
Yeah.
But I think the story could have taken a different turn than the fact of he got high, had sex, didn't remember what happened.
Right.
I think they could have that could have been altered quite a bit. There's so many other realms by which they could have started that story. I would have liked to see a little bit more authentic New York.
Right.
So part of the original was when he went to New York, he experienced this new land.
Right.
When they went back to New York, I would have liked for him to really see how things have changed. He said some things remain the same. Now, the barbershop scene is probably the best portion. Now, they could actually do a show of just the barbershop.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying that they could do a whole show or a movie of that.
Of the barbershop.
But Eddie was saying that the makeup, even though the makeup is advanced, it still takes 5 or 6 hours. So it was just the undertaking of doing it. He was like, but it was multiple people I see talking about
just that portion.
Yeah.
I would have loved for him to touch, as he goes back to really see and really get re-ingratiate himself with that culture.
Right.
But overall, it was a solid C. Maybe C plus, because I didn't try to compare it.
I didn't compare
to the original movie, because this movie has some great scenes.
Yeah, it looked good to me too.
Yeah, cinematography was great. The colors were great. Like when you see, as they portray the African culture, the colors was
it was beautiful colors. Yeah.
But overall, it has some things it has some things that could have been done better. I think this movie was more of a celebration.
Right, that's how I looked at it too.
And it was like people kept asking, "Hey, when you gonna come out with Coming to America too? We're gonna come out." So it's to the point they say, "You know what? We're gonna celebrate the legacy of Coming to America,
right? But
at the same time, we just gonna have fun,
right?
We're not trying to live up to that. We're trying to, as you said, I'm gonna celebrate everyone who has something to do with this legacy of this movie,
right?
But it's also not to a point that you want to see a 3.
No, not at all.
So hey,
not even close.
I gave you something. I gave you I wet your whistle and gave you what you wanted. But it's also not that I want to continue to see more of it. But overall, for the people who've never saw the original one,
right?
I've saw a lot of comments, people that have never seen the original that actually really like this movie.
Right. For this generation, for people that are our age, a little bit older, as I'm saying, in this time, they're around about the age we were when it first came out. This could mean a lot to them. You know what I'm saying? To see Eddie in his glory of portraying multiple characters and stuff like that. I think too, where I take my hat off to the film is because, again, it's always a win for black folk when you can have a cast of predominantly black people. Yep. And I believe this film was purchased somewhere in the neighborhood of $100+ million.
I think like 129, and it only cost like 9 to make.
You see what I'm saying? So that's a win for black culture, and I'm just happy to see all the black stars, comedians, I know a lot of people said some of it didn't make sense that they was in there. I don't give a flying flip. To see James Earl Jones still, me and my mom were talking about it, to see as he's aged and to see Morgan Freeman and still be able to pay homage to those dudes. John Amos, he's aged, to see these legends that we have. But to go back into the story, I think for me, it was starting out cool, but a lot of it, and you do it in remakes and you have to balance it, but they took really a lot of little points from the original, the bathing and, the different little, when he woke up in the morning and he said, yes, it is something, just like first, yes, it is my birthday. These little things, to harken back to the old one. Did you ever a challenge that the king died just like kind of sitting up?
Yeah. That was...
It was...
before he died, right?
Right.
I knew what Eddie was doing by trying to, keep everybody that a part of the original legacy involved. I didn't care for what a king was a king.
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't really care when they brung was it Shantae Roxanne? What was it? What were the two chicks at the end? We saw it.
The two rapping. The two rapping twin sisters.
I didn't need that.
Right.
Now the Midnight Train in Georgia, I actually liked it because of the vocals.
Right. Yeah.
But it was certain little things I didn't really need. Now I did like my man. We said when the king died, no one even had sex anymore.
Oh yeah. Morgan Freeman was just
But
and to see Salt and Pepper and
I like the fact that he wanted to keep them a part of it. I think they could have A, just played the music, or B, had them as like extras in there.
Right, yeah.
Or like when he went back to New York, hey, ain't you?
Yeah.
It kind of keep them into it.
Yeah.
But that portion of the movie didn't really. It was kind of goofy to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Even like now, my guy was Wesley Snipes.
I love Wesley. Me. Wesley was the best. I mean,
but they did have some goofy scenes when they had him in with the shake weights. I'm like, bro.
Yeah. But Wesley killed it. And I even seen the girl was like, they asked her, I can't remember which character. I think she's the one that played the princess. And they was like, who had the best African act? She said Wesley. Yeah. Wesley. But then Wesley went on to talk about how he studied African American culture, African culture.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. But anyway,
I'm happy to see Wesley getting a shot again. And now, also, this also shows how much Eddie puts people on and look out for people.
Absolutely.
Because the original one, we had Louis Anderson. Nobody really knew. He was kind of coming up.
Yeah.
You had a young Samuel L.
Yep.
Nobody really knew.
Yep. He wasn't the Sam he is now.
Eric LaSalle. With Soul Glow.
Yeah.
So a lot of people Eddie put on. Then we go even to Harlem Nights. He brought to everybody.
Everybody. Including his uncle.
Yes, in there. Then when Uncle Ray did the what movie was that with my man? The other joint when he got the award when he Dolomite.
Oh yeah. He put a whole bunch of cats on.
And at that point, like Wesley, he was kind of shunned from Hollywood after his issues.
Yep.
He was the first one to really bring Wesley back into the fold.
Indeed. Yep.
Mike Epps, and because he really looked out for people. Even this one, he brung in SML people.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, Jones, what's her name? Leslie Jones.
Yep.
My man, what's his name? Used to be on Martin.
Tracy Morgan.
Tracy, I actually like Tracy in it.
I like this character too.
I'm not the biggest Tracy Morgan fan. It's like hit or miss.
Yep.
But Tracy actually did a great job in it. Him, Leslie did a great job. Now, unfortunately, it depends on how you look at it. Some people hated the fact that she was overly ghetto, but I guess they tried to play up to the point of the quote unquote baby mom stereotype.
It was that, and they wanted to show also, I think, how much of a contrast she was to Lisa.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because Lisa was just a straight up good girl. You know what I'm saying?
And as well as, I think he was kind of giving Leslie her flowers, allowing her, she's kind of been overlooked by Hollywood to basically be the lead lady in the movie for the most part.
Right. Yep.
So it's like, hey, you can not fit the quote unquote stereotypes and still do a great job as a leading lady. So I was happy about the way things went in terms of those different people that he brought on into the movie. Right. The movie did have a lot of undertone, things that when he was talking about the antiquated ways of in Zamunda, a woman couldn't be a queen. So like he had to go all the way to New York to go find the son to basically rule.
Right.
In a country that he knew nothing of.
Right. And it also showed that, he had forgotten because he was supposed to kind of be like a revolutionary for the people. You know what I'm saying? He's a legend of how him and Lisa got together. They broke the tradition, but then he finds himself falling right back into those same traditions.
Everything that he told himself that he wouldn't be.
Yeah.
In the pressures of trying to live up to his father.
Exactly.
He became his father, even though he didn't want to be him.
Yep.
He wanted to be his own man.
Yep.
But yeah, he lost his way, but you saw him kind of find it towards the end, like, you know what? I'm gonna create a new path,
right?
And I'm gonna allow my kids to do the same thing. His daughter, well, he was talking about, was the best candidate. I think it showed that anything is possible. That let the best person who's best equipped for the job handle it, regardless of gender, race, color, and so on and so forth. His daughter was the best candidate.
Right. Exactly. And I think too, I heard people say that maybe they should have tried to make it into like a series, because was the story a little rushed, maybe? To flesh out some of those kind of nuances that would have helped the story. I think
they could have. Well, if you look at it, the way the movie was, it actually was more of a sitcom than an actual movie.
Right.
Certain nuances of the the show, it really could have been like a little mini 6-part show where you could actually touch on different things.
Right.
I think. Because, for example, when his son fell in love with his barber, that was kind of quick.
Right. It was just super.
They had 3 conversations. They in love. Now, part of the nostalgia of the original was when Hakeem was after Lisa. He was a no-name guy. He was a guy in the background.
Yeah. He
didn't have all the money. He wasn't flashy. He was working as a janitor, and she saw him.
There you go. Right.
She saw his heart, and she really saw him and got to know him.
Yep.
So it was a build up to build that relationship.
Yeah. There was subsequent scenes where first he sees her at the Miss Black Awareness pageant. I feel, but and then he worked his way. It was a process, and that's what's
he won her, not with materialistic things.
That's what makes love stories real to us, because we usually go through that process of the falling and gradually, learning somebody and you fall in love with them. So,
but I guess in the story of the son, him falling in love with the barber also told you that, as they talked about, it's all about the connection. Because the character that was played by Tiana Taylor exemplified all of the traits, the physical traits.
Right.
Everybody was going crazy.
Shout out Tiana. Tiana was looking right, man.
Everybody was going crazy when they saw her. Now, visually pleasing.
Yeah.
Visually pleasing. She exemplified what he wanted. But when he talked to her, there was no connection when he asked her about herself. They kind of revived the Vanessa Bale character. What do you say? Hop on one foot.
Right.
and I was happy they broke her back.
Right, yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
And
so-
they had an old, and she was still jumping.
And she growled at him. So how you doing?
That's
She growled at him.
crazy, man. Yeah.
But it was still, they kept that ignorant mindset of, I'm your servant, not your wife.
Right, exactly.
And I'm your servant, not your mate. So
Yeah.
part of that, you say, as you go through life, you want to go through life with somebody you're gonna grow with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a empty shell just because it looks the part.
Yep.
So I was happy that he saw beyond the barber's position, and she looked good too. But
Yeah.
she did. I guess when you're comparing, she wasn't Tiana Taylor, but she was a very good looking woman.
Yeah, she was very attractive, and I think that's sometimes to take it as Skeens and I always talk about relationships. Sometimes it's not gonna, for men and women, it's not gonna be this just flamboyant, ridiculous choice. It's gonna be somebody that's more subtle than you thought. That's really the right person that you're supposed to be with to build family. I like this little scene where they were fighting. I'm gonna play just a little snippet of the audio. I don't know why I like how he was on the ground, and I'm listening. Something he said. Let me see real quick. Oh, hold on. Where is it at? I'm messing up. What did he say? I'm listening or something like that. He said.
Shout out that boy Randy Watson. They brought him back.
Yeah,
Sexy
man.
chocolate.
He's like, play that. Hey, had the mic right there. Play that saxophone. Something he was saying.
Perhaps now you would like to solve your problems diplomatically.
Well, I guess we got to kind of talk over this. 'Cause you know how they snatch it down. No, you can't.
Yeah, he was on the ground listening, you know. So that was cool, man. Wesley did his thing. I think, too, it has to be mentioned as well that the first one was rated R and this was PG-13. Mm-hmm. And I think that's along the lines of the Trek for the most part. Outside of Dolomite, Eddie, once, let's say, Dr. Doolittle, all the way to Shrek and, you know, things after that, you know, he kind of took a different line where he wasn't.
I mean, Eddie he also has 10 kids.
Yes.
He's a different guy.
He's a totally different guy.
And the times are different. So
way different.
So a lot of things that was said and done back then,
Right.
Eddie wouldn't be able to see the time of day with some of this stuff.
Yeah. So I think too, what his kids see, what he knows is going to go out to the mass. He's kind of, you know, he wants to leave a slightly, you know, he knows he's a legend for that Beverly Hills Cop, for Raw, Delirious, Trading Places, you know, so on and so forth. But I think he made a decision, and really, as Skeens and I talk about, that kitty money be so long, boy. I'm telling you, that Shrek money. I mean, you know, he was even in Mulan way back. You know what I'm saying? I think he kind of changed the Trek and the trajectory. He wanted to have something that was more palatable for the entire family to sit there and watch. You know what I'm saying? Because even how I move, Skeens and I watched a lot of stuff coming up that right now I won't let Trey watch. You know what I'm saying? Not yet. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to guard his mind and stuff a little bit more with stuff like that, man. But I think, too, what did you think of, you know, I was wondering if they was going to do it, but they brought in Reverend Brown all the way. Yeah. Really, he didn't come in until the end. You know what I'm saying? And,
you know, I mean, those are memorable characters.
Right, yeah.
So I was just happy that he was able to do a lot of those characters right.
Right, yeah.
It wasn't cheesy because all of the legendary characters were the best portion of the movie.
Right. Yep.
I think another thing that we touched on, we talking about family. One of the undertones were about the blending of family.
Right. Yeah. Talk about that. Yeah.
He had his daughters that grew up with him.
Yep.
Then you have the son that comes out of nowhere. The older daughter felt some type of way because, like, hey, you giving him something that I deserve.
Right.
And he slowly, in the son, basically told, like, hey, you know what? You're right, but you also grew up with our father.
Right. Yeah.
I had nothing.
Right.
I'm in the streets. We came up broke. Y'all have everything in a palace.
Yep.
So I think it allowed her to kind of see things through his eyes, but he also understood her position. Like, yeah, this is something that I know that is not for me.
Right.
But it's a way for him to actually get to know his family.
Right.
And even the scene when they was out there with the lion.
Yeah.
When they was arguing, but she eventually kind of worked with him.
Yep.
To kind of trap the lion with some doggone cat food.
Yeah. Yeah.
But even that showed that they were willing to look at each other, look at the other person through each other's eyes.
Yeah, and I think that's, again, as we're always rolling everything back to relationships. A lot of times we do. We have people that we're in blended families, whether it's blended families through marriage, we're all in some version of a blended family, especially when we mix in our family and friends that are like family. That blends that family up. And there's areas of contention that we may have that we got to resolve. And as you can see, once they really just looked at each other for who they were without all of this stuff, they're like, we're really on the same level playing field here. And she could appreciate him.
And then also the culture, they was on polar opposite ends in terms of culture. Yeah, absolutely. So even that had to, played a big part of getting to understand each other. Right. So and understanding how this person became, their views, and so when they got past that and they understood that is no malice. I don't like you, and I don't like these things about you. Once you thinking it is because that's that person's point of view instead of understanding that's that person's upbringing, that culture. Absolutely. So once you're able to bring each other into the other person's way of life and train of thought, things became a whole lot smoother. Even with Lisa and Leslie. Yeah. You start seeing them get past those awkward stands, and then they start actually growing to actually like each other. And that's in relationships, y'all. Once you really, again, you have to have a respect and appreciation for somebody else's POV. And then once you strip away all your preconceived notions, right, and all the stuff that you bring to the table before you give that person a chance, once you strip that away, you actually find the bigger messages that in life, the beauty of what you can have in a relationship with somebody is there, and it's available to you to build that. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of people just looked at it to say, is this film going to be as funny as, this is a Mount Rushmore. Coming to America Part 1 is a Mount Rushmore, once in a lifetime film. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you can make another Coming to America. Even it is just like in most movies when there's a part 2, there's just something about that first time. Just like some of our artists, their favorite album is nothing like the hunger and what they had, especially with what you see in people, their creativity in their youth. It's just something about that's always special that you never can really return to, because with age, wisdom, understanding and things, you're not the same person. You know what I'm saying? But again, overall, we went into it really with no expectation, but just evaluating it for what it is for right now, not even comparing it to the old one. And like I said, I agree with Skeens. It was a C. I see some people, oh man, straight up trash. Fine, that's your opinion. Because when I say straight up trash, have I seen films that were way worse than this? Absolutely. And I think it's just a good look for the culture, period, man. And again, just a salute to those GOATs that were in that film. Even just going, not just what Arsenio meant, not what Eddie meant, but excuse me, what Arsenio meant to culture, Skeens. Yeah. He's a cultural icon. My mama used to let me stay up to watch the Arsenio Hall show, man. Arsenio was the original counsel. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. After his he had the minister on there. Yeah. Arsenio was he was counsel. Yes. And he was bringing on the edgy comics and hip hop artists, and he broke a lot of people. The who's of who had to go through Arsenio. Bruh, he was talking about John Singleton, y'all. The famous, rest in peace to Johnson, was like an intern on the Arsenio Hall show. You know what I'm saying? And because he said he had came up with an internship, how to put people in the game and let them learn the business and stuff like that. So, it was so many legends in there, and just seeing everybody from our community, and, they shot it down there at Tyler Perry Studios, so
I mean, all of that type of stuff, when I look at it, not just outside of the film itself, you look at what it was for everybody involved.
If you use Rick Ross' house,
you know what I'm saying?
It's all black. And the whole, as you say, the empowerment, and as well as, that's one of the things, like we talk about Black Panther, as empowering as it was, we still didn't own it.
Yes.
Now, it was all black cast, black director, writer, Brian Coogler.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it was still funded by other people. And majority of those people in that Black Panther movie didn't really get broke off. You started looking at how much they got compared to the money, the hundreds of millions, maybe $1 billion
I think
that movie brung in.
Yes, it did.
With this movie, Eddie, all black cast for the most part, 90-something%.
Yep.
You said they used Tyler, black.
Yep.
The shooting location, Rick Ross, black. Yep. They kept the money internal. That way you can recycle those dollars, as well as he gave a lot of black people a chance.
Yep. To
actually be one, pay homage to the some of the forefathers, but also usher in some younger people or people like Leslie Jones that never really got her just due. Regardless of how you feel about it, but she's put in a lot of work. I remember way back in Comic View days.
Yeah, man. And I think, in fairness, I think Black Panther, they shot some of that there at Tyler Perry. Man, Tyler secretly just let everybody, doggone, what's the show? Walking Dead, I think some of that. Stuff, a lot of stuff that, this says the Black Panther at the time, this was as of May of 2018, had made $1.344 billion.
That's what I'm saying. But if you look at the count of the money that every Chadwick Boseman and everybody made, they didn't really get paid a lot for that movie.
Yep. I think they said far Coming to America 2 is I don't know if it's the most streamed films period there or this year. I don't know. But, it did. And like I said, they broke them off. They paid $100 million for it. You know what I'm saying? That's a win, for the culture, man. So,
overall, I'm happy. It's a good family movie.
Yep.
And especially with today's restraints, you can't really do or say certain things. Indeed. So he had to kind of toe the line to keep it, PG and something that for it to continue to be seen going forward by black people or by the world, but primarily by black people, you have to stay within certain confines to make sure that it doesn't get canceled.
Right. Yep.
So this is like a time capsule type movie for the kids now once they become adults. Right. You say, hey, I know this movie is still going to be around 20 years from now, Rick. And the history revival for the kids that see the movie now when they grow up, they may feel totally different about it.
Right.
Once they once they reach our age.
Yep. Indeed. So, but yeah, man, that's our quick review, guys. Coming to America from the folks here at How Did We Get Here? We give it a strong C. Okay, but again, this has been another episode of How Did We Get Here? I'm your host, Jay Carter, and the man has always heard and never seen Skeens.
Yes, sir.
We'll get at y'all next time.